So, you just bought an electric vehicle, or if you're an electrician, you have a customer that just went and bought an electric vehicle, and they get it home and they're all proud, and then they realize, oh crap, I gotta put this charger thing on the wall. Okay, well, let's go look at the electrical panel. Doot. Oh crap, I'm at capacity. What do you do? In new construction, we often ask people, the first question we ask is, are you planning on getting an EV or two, Teslas put in here? Because we need to know for the capacity of the service. Those EV loads are pretty decent sized loads. And so they a lot of times can take a standard service and have to bump up the size of the service just because of one of those cars, let alone adding multiple of them. So this could take like a $3,000 to $5,000 service and change it to like a $7,000 to $10,000 service. The other issue is existing homes, right? You might have a home that's like built on 150 amp service and it's all electric everything. So they're like full capacity already. And then they want to buy an EV to put it on. And so you have to have the conversation like, not only is this car going to cost you a lot of money, but now we have to upgrade your entire service. That means we got to get the utility planning. We got to pull permits. We got to tear your whole service off the wall, put in a brand new service. It's going to be very costly for you just to have this car. That's not necessarily the case though. So Siemens sent me this load manager that's a new way to approach this problem. And it's really great for situations where you have an existing home and somebody buys an EV, and rather than having to replace the entire service, if they can't afford to do that, there is still a solution. You put a load manager next to a panel and you hook the EV charger up to this load manager. And the beautiful thing about the load manager is all it's doing is it's monitoring the current usage of your panel, and it's figuring out when it allows charging to happen. And if you start, say a dryer kicks on and all of a sudden you're using too much capacity, rather than putting too much current through the service, it cuts the charging out and allows whatever those loads are to keep running. And then when the capacity reduces, it goes back to charging. It's like a beautiful thing. You don't have to replace the whole service to do it. You just get this one little device put in. Now, this is not even just for EVs. This could be if you get a hot tub put in, right? Same kind of problem that electricians get called for is, I just bought this hot tub and it showed up and now I don't have any capacity. I need to replace my whole entire service. So like any kind of larger loads, welder, like anything that you might need to add, this load manager is great for up to 60 amps. Now, a lot of people think that they're at a certain capacity, but they don't actually know how loads work in an electrical panel. So one often misconception by apprentices and homeowners is that they think that you're supposed to add every one of these breakers to figure out like, oh, I can add something or I can't add something. Or some people just look at the spaces and they don't think about the load at all. And they're like, yeah, I've got 6 spaces in there. Of course I can add stuff. But that's not how it works. So this is a 200 amp panel. If I were to add up all these breakers, I've got 440 amps worth of numbers on handles, but none of that even matters. Like right here, I've got 250s, 230s, and 220s. That's 200 amps right there. But these don't all run additively. So most of the time in a electrical panel, if you have a 200 amp service, you're probably only using like 40 amps at any given time. If we were to take our clamp on ammeter and clamp around each one of these conductors, we would probably get like 20 amps on one, 30 amps on another, 40 amps, something like that on a 200 amp panel. And it's because most of the electrical loads in a panel don't run at the same time. So the most that something happens is when you have like a dryer running, that's an electric dryer, you're probably running 30 amps on that. If you've got like a furnace running, you might be drawing like another 40, 50 amps on that. If you're using a whole bunch of stuff at one time, that's when the load starts to increase on this. But then once you shut those things off, it just goes back to like, you might be charging a phone or a laptop or like using a computer. So there's very little actually being used. So we have to do load calculations to figure out if you even need to increase your panel, because it's all based off of what loads you're running. So you might be able to add an EV charger without having to replace your electrical panel. So let's talk a little bit about sizing a service. Now, this is not going to be a full, optional method or standard method, NEC code way to calculate a service video. That if you want to join our learning system, we have Electrician learning system. We teach all about code theory. We have tons, like hundreds of videos and courses, and that's the place to go if you really want to learn in depth how to do this as an electrician. But in general, just to kind of give you the idea of how we figure out a service, is we have to look at all of the different loads that are happening throughout the system. So to analyze a panel, an electrician has to look holistically at the entire electrical system and do a calculation to figure out if a new service is needed or not. They can't just give you a snap answer unless they're old school and they've been doing this a while, right? But in general, we have to look at everything that is electric, right? If you have a gas-powered dryer, that's awesome. That means that you don't have a dryer that's going to be even utilizing much electricity. If you have a gas range, or you have like all these gas appliances and not much electric, then you have way more capacity in your panel. All these electric heating elements in all of these electric appliances use way more electricity, like tons more. That's when you really need to worry about capacity. So we're looking for things that are 240 volt stuff, right? Your dryer, got a big old plug, 240 volts, probably going to draw about 30 amps. That's a lot of current compared to like charging a laptop. Your heat and your AC, you might have an electric furnace up in your attic. It might draw like 50 amps. You might have an air conditioner that might run, 30 amps, something like that. They're both 240 volt loads. Now, when I was talking about doing the calculation, the reason that we have to look at that is because there are rules in code, as the electricians know, where if you have heat and AC, you're not running the heat and the AC at the same time, right? That's just not going to happen. You're either heating because you're cold, or you're trying to get cold because you're hot. So we can delete one of those things when we're trying to figure out how much capacity you actually have in your service. That's how we start figuring out how much capacity. It's by the load, but we also know you're not going to be using every single one of these things at the same time. So there's a lot of derating factors that we can use to figure that kind of stuff out. The other thing is the size of the house matters. So we don't actually calculate every single receptacle and every single light in a house. We use the square footage of the home, and we just give a certain amount of volt amps, a certain amount of, wattage you could think of it as, per square foot. It's 3 VA per square foot, 3 volt amps, or 3 watts, although those are not the same thing. But depending on the size of the house, if you got like a 7,000 square foot home, you're gonna have a lot higher number that you have to figure out for your service than if you have like a 1,500 square foot home. You could have a fully stocked full panel that is just full of breakers, and it's a 200 amp panel, and still only have 40 amps of current running through it at any given time. You still might be able to add that EV, and if you were able to like rearrange something or get like another sub panel or something like that. This is why electricians need to figure this stuff out, and it's not just a snap decision that you add up a bunch of breakers in a panel. So how do we actually install one of these? It's actually really simple to do. You're essentially just gonna add a load like you normally would. If you have an EV charger in your garage somewhere, you're just gonna have another box before it. The thing that we have to add is current transformers. So there are what we call CTs that monitor the current flow through service entrance conductors or feeders, depending on what kind of panel you're putting on this. But it's monitoring the current in that entire panel, and it goes back to these monitoring relays inside of the load manager, and that's how it monitors the usage of the panel and knows when it's okay to charge and then when it needs to stop charging because you're using more capacity in your electrical panel. So the first thing that I did is I mounted the load manager. Next, Siemens sent me one of their EV chargers, and I really like this one because it has a little hinge on it and it swings open and allows you to get to the electrical components on the back side of it for wiring, and then you just swing it back and put it in place. But I like the fact that it is hinged. It just makes it easy to work on. Now, once I got both of those mounted, I had to get my line side wires, so I had to come with a piece of 3/4 flex from my panel and into the line side of the load manager. And I ran number 6s. You have a 60 amp capacity on that 3-pole contactor on the inside, so I just went with number 6s, but you don't have to run that. It's all going to be dependent on the load. So you might have like number 8s if you do a 40 amp load or something like that. Now, you do have to run a neutral with it, so you're going to have 2 hots, a neutral, and a ground coming into the thing, but you'll notice there's no neutral leaving because this Siemens charger doesn't actually have a neutral. Then once I got the line side all figured out, I ran another piece of flex from the load manager over to the EV charger. And then just hook those terminations up really easy. And then the last thing that I had to do was I had to run the CT wires. So it's just really skinny wires, but there's only 2 of them. It's 2 2-wire connections that go from the monitoring relays inside the load manager all the way up to these donuts or CTs inside the electrical panel. The hardest part of this really was like figuring out how to get the CTs around the conductors because they're kind of big. So you do have to be a little bit mindful about how big they are. But fishing everything in, getting it run really pretty and zip tied off to the side so it's not just a mangled mess in there. I think just doing clean work looks better, so I always try to be cognizant of like how things are run on the inside. But once I got the CTs hooked up, I got my load side landed, my line side landed, that was it. And then I was done. Really, that whole install took probably about an hour. Granted, I have open studs that I'm working with here in a recording studio. Out on a job site, you're probably gonna have drywall, or you're gonna have like environmental conditions where you're trying to do this maybe like in masonry on the side of the house with brick or something like that. So it could take you longer. But all in all, this didn't take me 8 hours and get the utility company involved and have them do a shutdown and then have to call and get an inspector to come out. I didn't have to go source a couple $1,000s worth of materials and do load calculations to figure out the new service side and new feeders and everything, and have a utility company spotter figure out where, if we had a service that was a certain way and it wasn't going to pass inspection, and now there's new codes and new mandates because newer code cycles. There's just like a lot of stuff that you have to deal with to change out a service. So if you have an old dilapidated service that needs to be changed out, that's a whole different thing. But if you have like a decent service and you don't need added capacity for any other reason than this one specific load that you're trying to add, this load manager is a killer way to do it.